package. State governments inaugurate committee to mitigate effects of impending flood. Activates emergency management protocol. Wife of governor tasks women on Christ-like virtues. Akwa Ibom government reiterates commitment to food sufficiency. Distributes farm inputs to public primary schools. Another Chibok girl, Lydia Simon, regains freedom after 10 years. Details of these and other stories in just a moment. Good afternoon to you and welcome to KBC 45 News at noon. I am Blessing Isoyo. Playing his dual role as Akwa Ibom State Governor and a reconciliation pastor, Governor Moeno has hosted paramount rulers drawn from 29 out of the 31 local government areas of the state to find lasting solution to the lingering issue arising from the amended Akwa Ibom State Traditional Rulers Law. The paramount rulers of Ibana and Ini local government areas were absent on health grounds. In an atmosphere of peace and unity, the governor at the event held at the State Executive Council chambers thanked the paramount rulers and assured them of his government's readiness to work with them to find a lasting solution to the matter. He said he has gone to Ibibio, Anang and Orolands to sue for peace on this issue and thanked Barrister Ekpenyong Tekem for accepting to cooperate with government to resolve the matter out of court. There was a spirit of unanimity in the chamber on the constitution of the committee by the governor, as expressed by the DDM Professor Amanam Udo, paramount ruler of Etemekbo, and Owong Okonapang, paramount ruler of Mbo, as well as a DDM Clement Francis Ekpenyong of Ibisikwa Sultan, who all spoke in total support of the setting up of the committee on behalf of their colleagues. In a speech, the chairman of the State Traditional Rulers Council, Odidem Bassey Tamede, thanked the governor for the excellent manner he has handled the matter and supported the idea of a committee to look into the issue as proposed by the governor. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moeno has accepted the submission of the royal fathers that the position of the President General of Akwa Ibom State Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers be on the principle of rotation, based on the agreement at the meeting in Government House, Uyo, which the governor said he would not want to meddle into, since the issue involved revered traditional fathers. A 7-man committee has been constituted to make recommendations concerning the mode or structure of the rotation and submit the report to government in 2 weeks. A release by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ekerito Dor, says the State Governor, Pastor Moeno, will send the recommendations to the State House of Assembly for further considerations. Those listed in the committee include paramount ruler of Eket, Edidemetum Charles Dan as chairman, paramount 2, Edidemede Akpaneyang, paramount ruler of Etemekbo, Edidemamanam Akpanodoko, paramount ruler of Ikadekbene Akuko Konodoko, and paramount ruler of Mbo, Owong Okona Sokwabang as members. Others are paramount ruler of Okobo, Edidemitaide Okokon, paramount ruler of Ibionibum, Okoku Imeldo Soriang, while the secretary, Akwa Ibom Traditional Rulers Council, Dr. Emmanuel Umontwen, is to function as a committee secretary. Also speaking, the Akwa Ibom Ibibio and President General of Akwa Ibom State Supreme Council of Traditional Rulers, Ntenyan Solomon Etuk, also sued for peace, emphasizing that as a state they are all bound by the same cords of unity. Barrister Ekpenyong Tekem counsel to some royal fathers who had initially instituted a court action on the issue described Governor Moeno as a man of peace. He thanked the governor for his ingenuity in setting up the committee and expressed his support, stating that it represents the best way to resolve the lingering issue. This position was also echoed by the State Attorney General, Mr. Ukodom SAN, present at the meeting where the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Elder Demotong, the Secretary to the State Government, Prince Enobonwa, Director General of Government Business, Chief Assam SAN, Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Mr. Frank Achibong, and the political advisor to the Governor, Prince Godwin Ntogode. A cross-section of Akwa Ibom women, led by the wife of the State Governor, Pastor Patience Eno, were part of the April edition of the monthly Women's Prayer Meeting. The service, which held at the banquet hall of the Government House, Uyo, on the theme I Will Restore, featured a special Thanksgiving session by the Deputy Governor, Senator Akune Yakanya, and other women born in the month of April. Margaret Bassi was there and completes the story.
Pastor Patience Eno, who stated that restoration is the act of bringing a thing back to its original state, urged the congregation to eschew acts that are capable of robbing them of their chances of restoration, but to prepare their faith in line with the ordinances of the scriptures.
I know that the word of the Lord today has touched you. The preacher did justice to the topic, to the theme, which is I will restore. Who is speaking? And who is God saying he will restore? You and I. Every part of your life that needs restoration, today, by the word of the Lord, you will be restored. I will be restored. In the name of Jesus. That this month, don't do anything that will rob you of this restoration.
The governor's wife commended the leadership of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in the state for striving to ensure that the menace of drug and substance abuse are reduced to the barest minimum, adding that the price paid aims at restoring the dignity of the future champions.
I want to thank the NDLEA commandant for Akwa Ibom State for all that she's doing in curbing the menace of these drug people. Thank you. Continue your good work. The Lord will reward you in Jesus' name.
In an exhortation on the topic, I will restore, Evangelist Becky Udom reiterated that for one to be restored, sacrifices must be made, assuring the congregation that when the wind of restoration beckons, it interrupts the affairs of humanity and dismantle obstacles. Evangelist Udom mentioned forces that hinder restoration to include sin, unbelief, discontentment, unhealthy competition, hatred, and bitterness.
Restoration can also be seen as a step of making things better than their current state. And God is set to obey, even when they receive it.
The service featured praise and worship, testimonies, intercessory prayers, and the cutting of birthday cake by April Burns. Similarly, the state deputy governor, Senator Akune Iyaini, who was also celebrated at the service, extended her warm regards to the women for marking her birthday in the month of April due to her official engagement on February being her actual month of birth.
We are standing here today in honor of God, to return all glory to Him for keeping me to see 64 years.
Margaret Bassi, KBC News.
In response to the 2024 annual flood outlook released by the Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation, 31 states including Akwa Ibom are under threat. Governor Moino has swung into action to mitigate the impact of the impending occurrence. As part of measures, a monitoring committee has been constituted to interface with relevant federal government agencies as well as ascertain the effect of the impending flood. The committee has the Commissioners for Environment and Mineral Resources, that of Water Resources and Sanitation, Health, and that of Internal Security and Waterways as members. Others include the Agriculture Bus, that of Information and Strategy, Lands and Urban Development, as well as Chairman, Akwa Ibom State Environmental Protection and Waste Management Agency. The governor also directed the immediate activation of the Emergency Management Protocol of the state by the State Emergency Management Agency, to be headed by the Deputy Governor, Senator Akune Yare. Similarly, the State Environment and Mineral Resources and Waste Management Agency are to commence immediate and aggressive desilting of gutters and flood control channels across Akwa Ibom. According to the Commissioner for Information, Comrade Memabong, these committees are to brief the governor within 48 hours, as all have been assured of the preparedness of the government to take necessary actions in order to ensure that the effects of the impending flood is minimized. The member representing Ibioni Ibom State constituency in the State House of Assembly, Mr. Moses Essien, has advised students of the local government extraction in tertiary institutions across the country, alongside their conventional education, to acquire for themselves contemporary marketable skills. The lawmaker was speaking at the Assembly complex when the National Association of Ibioni Ibom Students Worldwide paid him a visit. Uyukoswa reports.
Mr. Moses Essien, who chairs the House Committee on Health, traced his leadership beginnings to student associations and emphasized that leadership as a student was not an excuse for poor performance in school. He warned against vices like cultism, truancy, drug abuse, and the crave for fast money, noting that actions and inactions at any leadership position have far-reaching consequences, as all positions are temporary.
And then to also be encouraged that one day you can be like me, you can even go to higher position offices. So what is the problem is that you are now in a level ground. You prepare yourself for the task ahead. I will be very glad to see that all the students of the Ibom, especially those in leadership position today, pass through the 4 walls of the university with good grade.
Reiterating his commitments to the welfare of students of the local government area in tertiary institutions, the Ibioni Ibom State Legislature said he would make available a grant of 1.1 million naira to be shared among 10 students from each of the 11 wards of the local government area.
In addition, coming to the House of Assembly, having passed through this strata you are today, I think it's important I commit myself to the promotion of student welfare. And in my first one year in office, I intend to do a grant, where you call it a bursary or you do a grant, and this for 10% in each ward. How am I going to do it? I will leave it in the hands of NICE Worldwide. I think among having knowledge in computer, skill acquisition is very, very important so that they can make themselves reliant.
Earlier, The leader of the delegation and President, National Association of Ibionibom Students Worldwide, Comrade Good News Ekpenyong, said the group called at the assembly to commend their lawmaker for effective representation and to solicit his support for the plans of the association aimed at enhancing the welfare of Ibionibom students.
To extend a very special thanks to you, sir. For your one person we know that is always ready to welcome the students wherever we want to meet with you, sir.
Uyoko Uswa, AKBC News.
Still to come. Bus distributes farm to public primary schools. Another Chibok girl regains freedom after 10 years. This and more when we return. Stay with us.
This is our home, where we all belong. The place where life is beautiful. The peaceful ambience we enjoy when we live together in unity and love. It's all man and you know. We go stand together, we go make them better. We be brothers and sisters, no matter where we day. It's all man and you know. No matter where we day, we are one. Let's live together in peace and harmony.
Glad to have you back. Government primary schools in the state have benefited from the distribution of farm input from the state government. At St. Patrick Primary School, Iboko Fort Uyo venue for the distribution. Over 60 government primary schools were presented with cassava cuttings, maize, pumpkin seeds, and coconut seedlings. Yaganopo has the details.
Presenting the farm input to head teachers of government primary schools, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Fiongofo, said the gesture is to ensure that schools generate revenue internally through agriculture. Dr. Fohu re-emphasized the commitment of Governor Umoino towards ensuring food sufficiency, advised that the inputs be adding that the pupils should be taught the importance of farming. The state agriculture boss, who announced that schools with the best farms will be rewarded handsomely, noted that a monitoring team will be going around to assess the farms.
But when we incorporate in these children the love for natural sciences and agriculture, we see that we will raise giants that will feed our nation tomorrow. I often tell people that agriculture is not something for our grandparents in the village. Whatever puts food legitimately on the table is something to be proud of. Because when you are hungry, hunger has no respect for certificates. It has no respect for status. Whoever you are, when you are hungry, your face will change.
The Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Lady Rose Bassi, who represented the Commissioner, thanked Governor Moino for placing premium on practical agricultural development in the state, promising that her ministry will ensure the multiplication of the inputs.
I want to start by thanking His Excellency, Pastor Umoino, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, for being proactive, for being a responsive governor. He knows how things are now in the country, that what is really biting the common man is lack of food.
Government knows that we are facing problem, and that's why the government is saying, giving out this to schools to plant. Why? So that this issue of no food will be over.
The representative of chairman of SUBET, Mandwe Ekpeyon, and head teacher of St. Patrick Primary School, Iboko Fort, Mrs. Ekaite Basi, saluted the Minister of Agriculture for interpreting the vision of government in agricultural sector, promising to make good use of the inputs.
I welcome you all for the flagging up of this agricultural input in Akwa Ibom State to spur up agricultural development.
We are very, 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 very grateful to your invitation, because we know what we have from you are improved varieties of the cassava cuttings. And the children now in the school, like this school, a child in this school can also come and address us on how to produce mushroom. We have them, yes.
Items presented to the schools include cassava cuttings, pumpkin seed, maize, and coconut seedlings. Eyagenopo, KBC News.
Beneficiaries of the Nigeria for Women project have been counting their gains as the project has turned lives around for good. Speaking with newsmen during a media field trip, beneficiaries from Abak, Oroganami, Bisikba, Sultan, Onna, Nsadubiuma, and Esreket local government areas enumerated positive effects of the project on their businesses, including turning them to employers of the labor. Esther Moran reports.
Mrs. Zuba Wonodo from Ikorok Maneda in Orogonam said through the project she has set up a vegetable plantation, established piggery and other farms in addition to drilling a borehole to aid her operations. Other beneficiaries, Mrs. Anyani Mobot and Mrs. Ederudasen from Ikorok Babin and Ikorikan in Ibesikbo Sultan said they engaged in palm oil processing and palm kernel cracking.
I have so many benefits. I know how to involve myself from different business. I thank the World Bank Nigerian for Women project for this project they have brought for us. Every woman in this community benefit for the project. I say Nigerian for Women project, World Bank, thank you.
The project have made women to know what to do, because many women are lazy, but because of this project many women have put effort and making businesses.
It has great impact, because before a lot of women were suffering. They did not know where to have money and help themselves, but now good number of women are not lamenting. They are enjoying the project.
So when they start to see the project, I see what is coming in there. So a lot of them come and type me, please man, I want to join the group.
We come over because conducting
officials of the Nigeria for Women project and the head of operations and communication specialist Erase Concept, Mrs. Adeshola Oyawoye, noted that the project, which was set up by the federal government in collaboration with the World Bank, has improved living standards of beneficiaries. Head of Operations Nigeria for Women project, Mr. Nicholas Wumbo, said Akwa Ibom is one of the benefiting states with projects sited across the state, including Orogonam, Abak, Ibesikbo Asutan, Ona, Nsirubium, and Esreke local government areas. He opined that the Akwa Ibom state government is working towards empowering more women in other local government areas of the state for improved living conditions.
When the project comes, it comes in phases, and I'm going to tell us that phase 1 is ending in June. We are thankful to His Excellency the Governor for approving scale up. As this commitment is done by the state government for us to scale up, we eventually go to all the communities. So I want to appeal to them that they should be patient.
The head of operations and communication specialist, the Erase Concept Nigeria Limited, Mrs. Oyawoye Adeshola, related success stories of some of the women whose lives have been transformed by the project.
Seeing what Nigerian for Women Project have done, have empowered these women, not only them, but also you can see it translating to the community and the people around them. The women have been able to gain knowledge and also been able to access loan, which has improved their businesses. And the most inspiring of all them are seeing their husband also standing beside them and helping them improve in the business.
Esther Umorin, KBC News.
The 4th Distinguished Registry Lecture of the University of Uyo has been held. The lecture, which had the topic Employability and the Dynamics of Service Delivery in a Challenged Economy, the Way Forward for Tertiary Institutions in Nigeria, was delivered by a guest lecturer and Vice-Chancellor, National University of Science and Technology, Abuja, Professor Joseph Eberendu. The lecture held at the 1,000-seater capacity Tetfon Auditorium, University of Uyo Main Campus, Waniba Road, Uyo. Esther Umorin tells us more.
Professor Eberendu, who touched key areas of concern in relation to the topic, highlighted the importance of employability while advocating self-development and flexibility in adapting to changing work situations to boost job satisfaction, adding that such innovations are prerequisites to meeting global standards of service delivery.
Enhance job performance, open up more career options, help people become more flexible to changing work situation and improve job satisfaction.
The host and registrar, University of Uyo, Mrs. Blossom Okorie, said the lecture is part of strategic measures put in place by the University of Uyo management to equip its registry staff with requisite knowledge, skills, and information needed to perform their roles effectively for the overall success of the institution and the society at large.
The opportunity to understand the intricate dynamics in service delivery in today's economic and expectations for the future.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Yaudon Dayo said the registry lecture is one of the lecture series put in place by the university management aimed at educating staff and public on the need to enhance efficiency, skills, knowledge base, and consciousness about quality service delivery by all categories of staff in order to remain ahead in championing healthy global practices.
Economic analysis of our nation. On one hand, it is expected that one person employment, another not employment, will be sufficiently highlighted and emphasized in the hope that the potential of job seekers will be fulfilled in order to ultimately eliminate banking, misfits, and other such characters from our labor force.
The chairman on the occasion and political advisor to the state governor, Dr. Godwin Tugude, appreciated the university registrar, Mrs. Blossom Okorie, for choosing to tread the path of her predecessors in sustaining the registry lecture initiated some years ago, stating that such is needed in tertiary institutions to enable staff adapt to changing and challenging economic situations in order to meet up with global standards.
2074 University of Uyo History Lecture and Conferment Award is specially set aside for all registry staff, among other things, to reflect on their level of competence, ability, opportunity, for challenges with the hallmark of vertical administration.
The events featured unveiling and presentation of the registry digest by Dr. Uba Obod and his team, goodwill messages, and presentation of awards of excellence to distinguished supporters of the event. Esther Umorin, KBC News.
Another abducted Chibok girl identified as Lydia Simon has been rescued by the Nigerian Army. Lydia, whose name is serial number 68 among the abducted Chibok girls, was said to have escaped from the camp of Ali Nguide in Mandara Mountain, where she was held captive for 10 years. It was gathered that pregnant Lydia, along with her 3 children who had been with the Boko Haram member, were all rescued to meet their loved ones again, while many other Chibok girls are still in the terrorist den, including Leah Shaibu, who preferred not to deny her faith for freedom. The report has it that Lydia's rescue was made possible by troops of Operation Desert Sanity Northeast Hadin Kai and troops of 82 Division Task Force Battalion in Ngoza. That's our package for this afternoon, but before we go, we take another look at the top stories. A cross-section of Akwa Ibom women, led by the wife of the state governor, Pastor Patience Eno, were part of the April edition of the monthly women's prayer meeting. The service, which held at the banquet hall of the government house, Uyo, on the theme "I Will Restore," featured a special Thanksgiving session by the Deputy Governor, Senator Akune Yakayen, other women born in the month of April. In response to the 2024 annual flood outlook released by the Minister for Water Resources and Sanitation that 31 states including Akwa Ibom are under threat, Governor Moino has swung into action to mitigate the impact of the impending occurrence. As part of measures, a monitoring committee has been constituted to interface with relevant federal government agencies as well as ascertain the effect of the impending flood. That's the news. We thank you so much for being a part of it. I am Blessing Isongu. I'm wishing you a very good day.